So I'm gonna start again. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. The move that was made yesterday by Bitcoin was within the range that we were looking at, and it went straight to this line here, 17,140, 130. That is the range that Bitcoin is consolidating in, and it is consolidating for another leg down. That is my opinion. This is going to move one more leg down. It's going to break this range. A measured level 3 for this move would be 14,400, but if we are looking at the daily levels, we're looking at somewhere between 10k and 13k, and we will measure it when this breaks. We'll have structures to measure it and zoom in on that. However, where we went yesterday is again, it's not breaking out of anything. It hasn't made any particular move outside of the how can I say, the sudden move that it made. What it did was it went back and back tested the 20 EMA on the daily. So that would be the most significant thing to mention about the move yesterday. It is within the range, and it went back and back tested the 20 on the daily. 20 EMA on the daily. Now, you know how I feel about the 20 on the daily. It takes generally about 3 tries to break it, even on the daily, as well as any other time frame. We'll see if those 3 tries are along the sideways or if they are in separate swings. Generally on the daily they go in separate swings. It tests it, gets rejected, comes down, tests, gets rejected, comes down, tests, gets rejected, consolidates, and then moves up. So here, for instance, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swings on the 20 EMA on the daily to break. I doubt that this is going to break with 1, not especially after this drop and not especially after the lower lows that it's been making. However, we need to be careful and mindful because it is quite close to the top of the range, and being mindful in terms of our stop losses or liquidations to have the let me see who's in. Morning, Lee. I'm starting because I need to get going earlier on today, and I said it's wiser of me to start rather than count on Roy's sense of time. Here would be the 18,000, the very top of this range, the very top of this consolidation range is the 18k. So if you're in a short, I would make sure you have this covered as liquidation. I don't believe it's going to get there, but we have 3 types of news coming out today. I'll show them to you when we're done with ETH as well. And they are meant to bring great volatility into the market. The consumer confidence yesterday was neutral, price action was neutral until Asia took over and spiked up to, again, the top of the range. It is charted territory, it's not uncharted territory. We knew that it was going to get there, and the only thing that I am regretting about this is not trading this up and down, but I am trading this for position. So I've got the position right here, 17,100. So it's a good position, and I'll be holding it to see what it's gonna do. I didn't think it was gonna get there. I thought that the range would be minimized down to here, 16,700, but it wasn't. It went up again. But anyways, that's the movement or the space. So we don't have any major support on the daily. We do have support on the 4-hourly on Bitcoin. We have the 20 moving up, trying to cross the 55 EMA on the 4-hourly, and they have both been tested for a long time. So it was quite natural here for them to break, because they were tested sideways. I'm not letting myself be tricked next time about the sideways test, because normally I would take the sideways tests as only one swing, but they're not. They're individual tests. So it was quite natural to break to the upside here after all of these tests, and after the 0.5. again, at the start of the week, when I could see that that 0.5 correction wasn't being broken, to me it was quite indicative that we were gonna move up. How far up? That's why I wouldn't advise on longing, because it's quite against the trend. But if you're watching them, again, you can take your profits here at the double top. You can take your profits here at the double top on the 1 hour momentum. So again, you're watching, you're waiting, but you do have to have a scalper's mentality when trading these 15-minute swings, because moves happen very quickly and you need to be watching them. Or you could be more generous with your limit orders and put them a little bit below the trend lines so that you make sure they're hit. So, long story short, Bitcoin has made a swing up, completed a swing up within the range. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 touches to the top, and now we have 1, 2 touch. We need another touch to the bottom. We do need that in order to break either to the upside or to the downside. I believe that is necessary. Again, I am mindful of this entrance swing because it's actually got 2 swings in it. It came down, went up, came down. So I would be looking to see what's going to happen with the correction of this swing. So this is now a complete swing. Another complete swing. So after we've had the correction here, now we've made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the golden pocket or the 702 is right on the midline of this channel. And this midline will tell us, I've seen this 100 times so far. This midline here will tell us if price action will correct down to the golden pocket or the 0.5 and will hold the midline. Then chances are this is an accumulation and a reversal, and we would be moving up towards the 18K and 19K areas. When the midline breaks and the 702 or the 786 corrections are made and we're keeping below the midline, then we're heading down to put more pressure on the bottom line. And if the bottom line breaks, we're looking to move down, which I believe is the more likely scenario. But we will have to see now where the correction of this, the way we waited for the correction of this swing here, and it did a 0.5, and I was mindful that it was only a 0.5, and 0.5s generally mean continuation. The same here, we need to see where this correction of this swing will take us. If it breaks the midline, happy days, we're coming down. If it holds it, we might be seeing 18K before we see in 15K. Okay, now Ethereum is pushing a little bit higher than Bitcoin in terms of the space on the daily where it is, because it's reached again the divergence line here, the green one, but not the yellow one. So it's reached the first level of how can I say, divergence, daily divergence. There are 2 levels, and it hasn't just a second. Hasn't reached the 20 on the weekly, but it has reached the 20 on the daily. So 20 EMA on the daily, price action is above it, and it looks like it wants to get to the 55. It is strongly above it compared to where Bitcoin is. ETH is also higher in terms of levels. It still has a little bit, just like a Bitcoin, but if you're looking at the daily accumulation, here it is, back above this support and back below the support and resistance line, and it is this is a 4-hour support and resistance line that has been holding this whole consolidation since June. So it is quite essential what's going to happen today and tomorrow along these lines. We'll have our answer today and tomorrow. There will be some volatility today, and Thursdays are generally reversal days for crypto. In terms of the hourly range, we are still in the same space. Nothing major has happened. Nothing big has happened. We are still within the range. Ethereum went straight up to the line that we had marked after the 0.5 correction. So again, it was quite deceiving because there are levels between levels. which again are testing our patience when it comes to holding trades open or when it comes to taking profits. Because here, for instance, I would have taken profit here 1,000,000 times because it's where this range is topping out. So I wouldn't have necessarily waited for this. But this, again, this has two purposes here. It's this, by this I mean this big candle. First, to liquidate the shorts that started here, and I'm talking about the high leverage shorts because it is a 4.6 move in one candle, so in 1 hour. 4.6, that is absolutely market manipulation. This is not a normal organic rate of growth, even for crypto. 4.6 in 1 hour. Everything from 30x, 50x, 100x is liquidated here. 10xers are not, 25xers not so much, unless they have a bad position. A lower position. So here we are, we've reached the top of the range. When we are at the edge of the range, the more natural move is the opposite way. So now I would expect a reversal or a correction. I said it on the chats because a reversal would mean coming down to level 3. So that's the reversal of this consolidation trend. We reverse down, or a correction would be a fib correction downwards. And if I am to put the fib levels on it, 0.5 is the midline. So again, along this midline of 1180, I can't stress how important 1180 is for now for Ethereum. If it breaks 1180, this is our pivot on this. This is a 4-hour consolidation. On this 4-hourly consolidation, the 1180 is our pivot. We break the 1180, we move down. We hold the 1180, we move up, and there is one level higher from here. Again, Ethereum loves its steps, little steps. Perfect. The next level would be here. Again, I mentioned it on the chat. 1340. So 1340 would be the 18K level. That I would say make sure you have that covered if you are shorting in case it decides to spike up there. So overall, ETH looks a little bit more, a little bit stronger in its lift than Bitcoin because of the daily 20 EMA. They both have reached the top of the range that it's consolidating in. They both have an extra level to go, but that extra level is like an overflow level. It doesn't have to go there to continue making a swing down. And for both of them, the midline 1180 for Ethereum, and for Bitcoin it's 16350. 16350, 16360. The midline will tell us where this is going, if this is going to push down or if this is going to reverse to the upside and continue one more leg up, because that midline will be a 0.5 correction or a golden pocket correction for Bitcoin. One more thing, this is again, this is a 4-hour structure that I have my eyes on for Ethereum. It's an ascending wedge, and Ethereum is moving out of it, but at the moment the latest 4-hour candle has swung back in it. So we have to see if we're going to have a couple of 4-hour candles. The minimum I would be watching for correction, to confirm the correction start, would be at least a 1-hour closing here and then the next one continuing down. So 2 1-hour candles closing underneath this 1270 trend line would be great. So that's it from me. I believe we are still in a downtrend. There's no at the moment no indication of reversal. It looks like a bull rally. Generally bull rallies are very short-lived in bear markets. We've been in this for a while now. We've been in this for 2 weeks now, so I am expecting this to finish. Where is it? Here I have the news. today, so this is UK time. So today at 1:15 UK time, we have the non-farm employment in the US. We have the JOLTS job openings in the US at 3 p.m. and then Powell speaks at 6:30 UK time. So 1:15, 3 o'clock, 6:30. I expect a day of great volatility today. It's also the closing of the month. Market makers love closing the month on a high. How can I say? Generally speaking, but we do have, again, it's gonna be today and tomorrow 2 days of news, and it will be bringing volatility. So closing today on a high doesn't mean that we're going to continue on a high. I am counting, I know it sounds really simple, but I am counting the swings in the consolidation range, and this is not complete, so it's not breakout territory yet. The levels are also showing us that it's not breakout territory yet. No matter how good it looks, it's made to look good until it doesn't, until it starts going the other way around. But we'll know today and tomorrow if we drop back into the structure or if we continue upwards. So yeah, that's my message. Watch the levels, make sure your positions are safe against any liquidations one level higher. If you are holding them, and if you are longing, I would be taking profits at each double top if I were longing, to be honest, because I don't trust any of these sideways swings, consolidations, and sudden moves. Generally, sudden move is fake move, and it's only normal for market makers to be pushing loads of liquidity now because they're the ones that will be selling at the top when they've convinced everybody it's going up. So if you look at these vector candles, we have great liquidity pushing this up. This is not a retail candle, it's a market maker candle. Here, market maker candle, here, market maker candle, here, market maker candle. And if you watch for the red ones, they're the ones selling at the top. So that's it. That's it from me. That's all I have to say. I'll be posting updates. I'll be in front of the computer today most of the day, watching for the news and to see how the volatility affects the price action, and I'll keep you posted if any of our levels of consolidation break. Have a good day, guys.
This is XRP on the hour, and again you can see the swing. You can see the swing from here, fast drop down, lift back up, did a double top here at the moment. For XRP, this may be the peak. We're starting our way down. However, there is volatility today. I know Bitcoin is due another lift. Went up to about 17,000, I think 100 or so. Potentially, it could go up to 17.5. So there may be another wake up. There may be another wake up. It might pull the market up a little bit more, yeah. But you can see, just as a simple point of patterns, you can see the previous. Here's the swing on the previous consolidation. Again, we topped out here, dropped, did one more lift, and then it came down, yeah. And here again, you can see it dropped here, and then one more lift above, yeah. So this had one more lift above the line, the resistance line of the swing channel. I'm just generalizing here, where this one it topped out, back tested, topped out one more time before it started to come down, yeah. So at present is we've had a top out, a back test, top out here again, and we had it sitting deep into it here, and then back up again. So we've got to see what this wants to do now, yeah. And equally, you can see the pattern of the three tops. 1, 2, there's 3. So you can see the pattern of the 1, 2, and the 3 tops here as well, yeah. So just general stuff, but you can see it here, 1, maybe 2 in there, and then 3, yeah. This one was a terrible amount of sideways here. So just as a general, you can see the basic pattern, yeah. So just from that point of view, you can see that we're due a correction down. So now one of the things I'm watching for is actually on the 1 hour. Is you can see here, this red line here is the 200 SMA, and this green one here is the 50 SMA, yeah. So the spill of the previous drop again was the crossing of the 50 over the 200, yeah. So you can see the 50 crossed above the 200 here, and you can see it moving sideways along here, yeah. So we're due a correction, and potentially is with this correction coming in here, is we may get the 50 pulling back down through the 200 here, and at the same time have the 20 on the EMA cross over to 55, and again that would trigger a bigger spill. So that's one of the things I'm watching for, yeah. And another thing I'm watching for is I want to point out to you on the 8-hour chart. Okay. And again, I'm relating it to the previous spill because I believe this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, and an A, B, C down. Yeah. So I'm looking at the last 8-hour on the RSI. Just to get it in here. Okay. So you can see the RSI topped out on the 8-hour, bottomed out here, overbought, oversold. Again, we hit the overbought again. And if you look at the pattern here, is topped out here, is you get the initial drop, you get the lift. So now if you look at this here, you get the top here on the RSI now, you get the drop, you get one final strong lift up here, and once it turns, then it starts to head down, yeah. So if you look at here, is look, we get a top here, is it drops down, and potentially we're getting one final lift here. And the question I'm asking myself is this the 8-hour candle that starts to take us down to the bottom, as in the ABC? So that's one of the things I'm watching for on the RSIs, yeah. So now, on the 4-hour, this is a shout out to Lee. Lee posted yesterday, possibly we're heading for the 200 on the 4-hour. And here's the 200 MA at the moment, and again you can see it wicked just underneath it. As I said, we may get one final push up here in the volatility of today, and again testing the 200, testing that's the 377 EMA, and I know the 200 SMA is in there as well. The 200 SMA is in there as well, yeah. So we may get a test to this today as well, depending on the volatility and what way it wants to go, yeah. So now, if I zoom out a little bit more to just touch in with remember the 4-day chart, where we were looking at every time there's not every time, when there's a bullish divergence on the 4-day, is generally that sets up a drop. There's another drop. So remember, I've been pointing this out for the last bunch of 4-day candles. Again, you get the green and then you get the red. So let's just check in with where we are on that, yeah. And then this is one of the challenges with charting, you got your 15 minute, your 1 hour, your 4 hour, and then when you're charting over say a 4 hour, 12 hour, daily, 4 day, a weekly, it gets more challenging to hold the focus. Yeah, so you got to check in regularly. So now here we are, is we've had this is the trigger candle here, and after the trigger candle we get a green candle, and then after that, if the pattern is following right, we get a red, which is we have here, and potentially this should be turning red as well. Yeah, this candle turned on the 29th, so it only turned yesterday. So if we get the correction that looks due, is again we should be getting a nice red candle here by the end of the 4 day, by the end of this 4 day candle, which is, it's got today and 2 more days to go. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, the MAs on the daily are being more challenging than I thought they would be. Yeah, and what I mean by that is that I've just said on the 4 day. Okay, on the 4 day, here's the 4 day candles here. I'll just clear out. Actually, I want to leave the MAs and clear out the trends. On the 4 day, this candle, I'm presupposing that if this follows the same pattern, is this 4 day candle should be turning red. But look, we have the 5 MA taking a sharp turn up here, which again makes it more challenging to break this. Equally, here's the 50, and you can see the way the 50 is being support as well. The VWAP here, you see the VWAP was down, and at the moment it's up again. That's more malleable. What's coming down is the 10 has broken the 20 here, the 20 EMA here are coming down as resistance. So you can see there's a bit of a battle going on. Yeah. So you got to look to the other dailies to see how they're faring in this as well. Yeah. So excuse me. So that's a challenge. That's a challenge to break through this. So now yesterday the 3 day turned. The 3 day turned, and again, is you can see here's the 5 coming around, 5 MA. Here's the 10 pushing down, and the 10 has been pushing down the last 7 days. As you can see, it's been tested. VWAP is up. Here's the 50 coming in as a bit of support, even a bit of support. And here we have the 20 EMA on the 3 day as resistance. Yeah. Now I will point out something here as part of the pattern play of things. The Bollinger Bands. You can see the top Bollinger Band here, the bottom Bollinger Band here, and the medial line here. So often what happens is that, look, you've got the breakout here, so you get the push through. You get the push through the medial line. Here's the medial line. You break the top and you start pushing it up. You back test to the medial line again. You break below it, then it becomes resistance, and then it takes you down to the lower Bollinger Band here. And if you're going to go lower, you come up and you back test the medial line. So if the medial line holds, generally that indicates that there's another push down. Again, if the medial line breaks, you get to lift up, you get the back test onto it, and then you get the lift up like that. Yeah. So that's part of the play going on, and you can see that playing out on the 3 day. So now the 3 day turned. The 3 day turned yesterday, this morning. So at the moment, again, you can see the medial line is being resistant, and the medial line is strong. That's an MA. That's an MA as well. Yeah, it's a 20 MA. Yeah. I'm not sure which 20 MA it is now, but it's one. Here's the 20 EMA. So here's the 10. So you can see there's a pressure. There's a pressure coming down. VWAP is is up at the moment. VWAP can get turned down, but again, you got to work through the 50 and the 5 here. So again, you can see the whole play of it going on here. So that looks challenging for the down as well. The 2-day, again, the 2-day turned yesterday. So this is the last day of the 2-day. 2-day is going to turn again tomorrow. Now you can see with the 2-day, there's a lot of pressure coming down on with the 20 here. The 55 is the blue, the 20, 55 EMA, 20 MA. Here's the 50 MA as resistance. 20 EMA, the white one, is even the 111 111 here MA and 100 MA here as support. Yeah. So you can see a lot of pressure here on the way down. Now, when I move this here like this, what I would be thinking potentially for the drop tomorrow is that when this day turns, the VWAP turns down and the 5 turns down. That's what we would be looking for that move down. So we've got to see if that's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. And when we go to the daily, let's see what's happening with the daily. Yeah. I'll just point out the EMAs here, or the MAs for a second. So the VWAP is up. Is the 5 continued to go down? The 10 obviously is coming up. Interestingly, is look at this 20 coming and scooping here, and then the 20 goes sideways. So it's interesting that the 20 goes sideways. It definitely tells you that price action is going to at least reach here, yeah, because it's the way it's moving. Yeah, when you put the candles back in, as you can see that here's the VWAP here, and price action is below it at the moment. So there's a strong pull to the down at the moment, yeah. So that is going to turn. The 12 hour is going to turn soon. The 12 hour is going to turn soon. The 12 hour is going to turn in 2 hours, and again, expect the VWAP to be at least sideways, if not down, yeah. And we'll see if this can get a pull down, and the second half of the day is drawn down. Now, I know there's there's a couple of meetings today, so again, there could be volatility, but at the moment, that 12-hour candle is looking like a nice rejection candle as it stands at the moment. Yeah. So now, the last zoom out on the MAs I'm going to do is the monthly. So what does this have to do with what I've just talked about? Yeah. Monthly is changing tomorrow. Okay, so if we look at this just as a zoom out, and imagine this is looking at an hour, the 4 hour, it doesn't really matter. We're looking at the month, but it's still MAs and the way they're moving, yeah. So you can see the VWAP came down here, and the VWAP was support, and the VWAP lifted it up, and then the 5 came down, and now the 5 has come in for a bit of support, yeah. So look, you get the break above, hits off the 10, hits off the 10, gets a rejection, hits off the 10, gets a deeper rejection. Is it wicked back to close to where the 5 MA is, yeah. But you can see the pressure coming down, and the question is it going to turn and take a lift up, yeah? If it is it looks like this target up here at 73, 74 could be a potential target for it, yeah. You can see the way the 20 is coming across like this. But still, I would have to break the medial line here to get past that. Yeah, so that would be a test in itself. To get past 55 would be a strong test. So now let's look at the importance of where price action finishes today, because where price action finishes today sets up the VWAP and the 5 MA for position, yeah. So I just put a little line there at the moment, just so you can see it. So there is right between both of them, because you can see the VWAP is down, the 5 is up, yeah. So where they meet is at about 40.95. When we put the candles back on, price action is below at the moment. So now again, that's going to be up and down a little bit, but if the 12-hour turns and the rest of the day predominantly is down, is if we start getting price action down even a little bit more, is that's going to encourage the 5 to turn down and the VWAP to continue down, yeah. And then equally, if you look at the 10 here, the 10 MA, last time it dropped like this, potentially, and this is again just general terms, potentially the 10 is going to be coming down to 47.35, 47 or so, somewhere around there, yeah. So again, applying more pressure. So it really depends on what happens today. If price takes a pump up and stays above it, then we have the 5 coming up like this, and you got the VWAP coming up. And again, that would suggest that this month that there's going to be a bit of a lift, yeah. But we'll see. And again, the monthly is, you can see the volatility that can be in a month. So it'll just be interesting as an indication about where the month wants to go, yeah. So that's what we're watching for. So now, so it looks like this daily candle could turn red, yeah. We gotta see. Okay, so now I'm just trying to think. What else do I need to point out? Here, I'll point out that, again, this is a macro one as well, yeah. This is the Wyckoff accumulation, yeah. So on the previous peak of the bull market, here's the bottom, and again here's the peak of the latest, yeah. And you can see there's a whole Wyckoff accumulation in here, and at this point you can see that there's another variation of the Wyckoff, a smaller variation of Wyckoff playing out here. And again, you can see the accumulation is here's the bigger bottom and the bigger accumulation. Within here, again, here's the bottom and here's the accumulation lift out, yeah. So we're pretty much in the same space. I think I brought this up. This here is probably too high. I'm looking at potentially this move here, yeah. So this is probably a little too high. It can skew it a little bit. But now again, I'm just mapping it out. This is very general. Well, not that these marks not general, but this is general here. This here, yeah. You can see the same. Let me bring this up here, yeah. The same accumulation pattern is working through here. The Wyckoff is working through here, and at the moment, it seems like we're due a lower low. To be honest, it looks like we're due a lower low on the bigger Wyckoff accumulation pattern, and then equally on the smaller one, we are also due a lower low. So before this goes up here, it seems like we need to come down here some more, yeah. And that's what it seems like, because when we've hit this lower low here, is really, if you look at this one, this drop here, there's a lower low, it sets the 3 lower lows, like this here. You got this lower low, you got another one, and you got another one, yeah. So now on the smaller time frame, you have it here in this section. It's equally, here's the first lower low, here's the second lower low, but on the bigger scale here, the third lower low, the third drop didn't make it below it, yeah. But you can still see it's set one. So now here, in this pattern here, is that we've got, on the bigger pattern, we've got the now, yeah, we've got this, yeah, okay, now, so this lower low here, there's 1, 2, here's 2, and then 3, here's 3, okay, so 1, 2, and then this is the third one. So on this pattern, this has set a lower low on the bigger time frame, okay, but now on the smaller time frame is, you can see that there's the 1, there's the 2, and the 3. In this smaller time frame here is we have set 1 lower low, We have not set a second and we have not set a third. So you can see the consolidation range here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. We don't have a second. We don't have a second. We don't have a third. Yeah. Now, partly why that is you can see here that, look at the drop. This drop is shallower. The sideways here, so it sets up the first lower low. This is shallower, so it moves to the second space here, comes up, and then it comes for the third, and then there's the consolidation, lift back up. Yeah. Now, in this pattern here, I'll move this over here. If I just put this like this, you can see from this high to this low, it's actually the same. It moved in the same, but the difference is that you've got a much bigger drop here. The consolidation here has created one low, but because of this big drop, we've got one low, and it doesn't find a way to create a second low yet. But the price action space that it moves in is literally the same. And then the last final lift here gives the final lower low of this accumulation, and then look, 1, 2, 3, and we're back out of this Wyckoff accumulation, and we're fulfilling the bigger one. Yeah. So now on this local accumulation pattern is, well, we got a deeper low here, or a deeper drop. We have one lower low. We don't have a second or a third. So you would imagine that we are due at least one more lower low before the accumulation starts to head on up. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Is with regards to bigger time frame, is you've got 1, 2, 3, and here we get 1, we get 2, and then 3 falls short here. Yeah. And then you get the accumulation up. On this one is, if we follow the same pattern here, look, you got the drop, the 3 steps down, you get the 1, 2, 3, you get 1, 2, 3. So this is the first low. Is from here you get the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got the second low. Okay, and now we're due, excuse me, we're due a lift up. So we'll get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So potentially is where, again, we're going to come up here. However, within, and then we'll have potentially a lower low here. Yeah. Now, last time we got, on this cycle here, we got the lower low, we got the lowest low here, and then this one didn't make it down. Yeah. So what's my point? Is when we look at the same Wyckoff accumulation pattern within here, is again, we've got the drop, we've got the lift, is we've got the drop down here, is even down, that's it here, and we got the 1, 2, 3 up here, is not my apologies, we've got the drop here, so we're here, we've got the 1, 2, 3. Now see this lift here, 3 is here because it has to go above here. Yeah. So really it's a 1, 2, 3. So we're here on the smaller one, and at the moment we've had our 1, 2, and then potentially we're looking for a lower low. Yeah. You could argue that, well, boy, maybe this is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3, and then we're heading up for our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're heading up. You could make that argument, but if that was the case, is again, we would be missing our lower low here. So potentially is we are looking for our 1, 2, and we get our lower low here, and that sets up the accumulation for that lift. So that's what I'm looking at. Is what supports that? What supports this lower low here now? Yeah, is I'll go to the stocks first. Yeah, so I'll go to the weekly So the weekly, actually here it is here, bottom right, this is the weekly stock RSI, and the weekly stock RSI, when I put it here and go on the week, okay, I'll take off these guys here, actually clear out all these here, either I'll just, okay. So now I'm just going to zoom this in, and you can see here, this is the stock RSI here, yeah? So the weekly is at the top here. So the weekly topped out here. I'll make a little circle so you can see it. So the weekly topped out here, that white circle. So there's the weekly topping out. And over the history of the last, since 2019, you can see there's only one other time that the weekly topped out so high, which was up here, yeah? And from there we're looking at, before the weekly heads on up, the stock, or before price action heads on up, the stock RSI needs to come down, yeah. So now we're looking at potentially the first week or two of December, possibly getting that push down before it turns up, yeah. Possibly even just the first week. Well, actually, no, I'm telling a lie, because this is the week. This is going to take a couple of weeks for this to actually get down here, yeah. So now, how does that fit in with the rest of the days, yeah? So again, this is this here. So back bottom right. You can even see that this is the 2 week has taken a little turn down here. This is the weekly. This is the 6 day here, the one in the blue box. The 6 day is on the way down. The 5 is on the way down. The 4 is bottomed out, yeah. You can see that part of the swing of things. The 2 days or 3 days heading back up a little bit here. The 2 days heading back up is, and the 1 day again is turned back down, and the 1 day is just about to come back in from the overbought, yeah. So now I think there's getting the swing of things is having the 1 day starting to come back down. Is you get the 2 day getting a little turn here, the 3 day gets a little turn here, the 4 day gets a little turn here, and it will allow the 5 and 6 day to push, and potentially allowing the weekly to get its bottom here. And then after that, I think we're going to start looking for if we go back here, yeah, here is, it will allow for the weekly to bottom out, and then look, the weekly can start heading back to the top, and we have this nice long lift up, yeah. And within that, it would synchronize, here we go. The dailies is, like, this is the 6 day, the 5 day. It would synchronize it. The 5 day would be down, the 6 day would be down, the weekly would be down. These guys would start to turn and start heading back up more, and there's be a synchronization of the stock RSI. Yeah. Equally, that would fit in with the regular RSI. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm looking at. Here we go. I'm looking at the. Actually, I want to go to the higher time frames. I'm looking at the 4 hour here, yeah. And the 4 hour, as you can see, it topped out here. So bottomed out here, topped out here. It came down, but again, it didn't actually go into the overbought here, yeah. So this is indicating to me that while the 4 hour topped out here, it didn't actually bottom out here, so it's due another run down, yeah. And equally, the 8 hour here, this one here, and bottom right on the second, is the 8 hour here. Again, the 8 hour topped out, bottomed out, topped out, and again it looks like the 8 hour needs to head back down again. So as I said earlier on, is potentially this 8 hour here, the turn of this 8 hour, the question is this the 8 hour that's going to take it down? Yeah. So that's the question. Yeah. So that's what I'm watching for. Yeah. Now let's zoom in. Let's zoom into the earlier time frames. So on the stock, here's the stock on the earlier time frames. Where this is the 5 minute, top left. The 15 minutes bottomed out. Half hours bottomed out. Hour is getting close to bottoming out. Here's the 2 hour, again coming in from the overbought. 3 hours starting to turn. 4 hours topped out here. So again, we were waiting for this lift that was happening, waiting for the 4 hour to top out again. Yeah. And again, this is the 12 hour. Yeah. So with the 12 hour turning down here, the 4 hour topping out, looking for a turn down, the 12 hour heading down, and then the daily coming back into from the overbought. Again, there's that indication of the 4 hour gets a push down, the 12 hour continues down, and then the daily comes in on top. Equally, we have the weekly again in sync, where the weekly is heading down as well. So it does look like there's a movement to the bottom. Yeah. Now, if I'm going to now flip and go listen. If the market makers want to turn it and pump it, they can. If they wanted to, the big guys, they can take it any direction that they want to take it. It doesn't really matter what the indicators say. That's the simple truth of it. Yeah. But when you look at the indicators as I've shown them, it looks like it's ready for a turn down. Yeah. When you look at the general consolidation pattern, is we're topping out here. We're due to head back down. Yeah, we're due to head back down. There are times, because each one of these is also an arc. You can see the arc, the triangle here. There are times. This is mountain peak, and again down to first drop, final third drop, final peak, final bounce, and then breakout. Is again this here is mountain peak, is third drop, is here final peak, final bounce, final retrace, and then a spill down. Yeah. So you can see each one of them is an arc. So at the moment, this is mountain peak. So we're at mountain peak. Maybe there's one more peak in it and it wants to go up. I don't think so. I believe this is mountain peak and we're heading down. Yeah. There are times when you get a mountain peak, you'll get a second drop here, and then you get the breakout and it goes up. Very seldom does it happen. Very seldom does it happen. It can happen, but if you follow the pattern and the consolidation, we are due at least another trip back to 32.91 or so. Yeah. But I do believe that we're going to have a spill here and head down to probably around 25-26 cents or so. Yeah. And that would give us our low here, the local low on this Wyckoff accumulation, and then we could be heading back up to I'd probably say around 73-74 cents. I think this is a bit too high. Yeah, probably around 73-74 cents, and again that would be fantastic. And then we get the spill down. Now, if this goes below 25-26. What I'm going to say here is on the previous pattern, you've got one low, two low, and then this third low didn't make it. So if we have a significant dump here, if this dumps down to say 20 cents or so, 18 cents, it's quite possible that when we get our lift back up, that this low might not create a third low. However, is considering it will be crypto's first real financial crisis, proper financial crisis, is, it is possible that we could have a really deep low here and then go to a level that nobody ever thought it will go to and have a proper reset. Yeah. But we got to see for that. Yeah. Now, why might I think it could go lower? Is because of this chart. No, where is it now? This chart here, yeah. So now again, I've shown you this. This is one of my long-term charts, and very simply, I'll just explain it to you very simply. Is you have this pattern playing out, yeah. And what it is essentially is it's the Wyckoff accumulation pattern to the second bottom. That's what this is, yeah. You can see the Wyckoff accumulation to the second bottom, yeah. So now we have this pattern. We have it here. We have it here, and on both patterns, you got this red line here, which is the center line, which price action comes up, tests it, gets one final rejection from it, and then comes back up, yeah. So now this was a 68.36% drop. On this one, when it comes back up and tests the center line, gets one final rejection from it, it's a 67.46% drop. So here we are again in the same place. We have a center line, we break below it, we come back up, we back test it, we get a rejection, and again the question is will we get a 68.65% drop? Will we get a similar drop? And if we do, it'll take us down to around 18 cents. Yeah. So that's a possibility. Yeah. Just so that it would, again, it's following the same Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And here's the bottom of it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. So let's zoom in a little closer and see where we are now. Yeah. I'm going to go to the 1 hour. Go to the 1 hour. Go to the 1 hour here. Excuse me. So you can see the bottom left second here is you can see the RSI is topped out at the moment. It's heading back down. Again, you can see second there on the right is the stock RSI. Again, is heading down. So it looks like there's still for the 1 hour there's still another push down to before this will need to reset. Yeah. Equally, when I look at the 2 hour. The 2 hour is again the RSI is topped out, and the stock RSI is heading down. Yeah, so you can see there's quite a bit of pressure for the reversal here. Yeah, could it get again one more push up? It could, depend because of the volatility of today. That's part of the challenge with the volatility of today. Yeah. When I look at the 3 hour, again the RSI, the stock RSI is due to come back in. And again, you can see that the RSI on the regular RSI is down. Yeah. So now the 4 hour. The 4 hour, again, potentially, price action may need to go up and get a bounce off this 200 MA or 200 SMA, potentially creating a double top up here. Yeah. Before it gets that strong rejection and it starts to come down for a correction. Yeah, and again that may bottom left here, the second one, that may push the RSI of the 4 hour to the top, but I don't think it needs to go to the top because it didn't bottom out here. So I don't think it needs to go to the top for it to head back down. Yeah, it can do, but I don't think it needs it. And then equally the stock RSI here is due to take a turn down as well. So. And again, just going to remind you about the 8 hour is, and I am asking the question, is this the 8-hour candle that is going to take it down and continue it down? Yeah, I'm just curious to see if that's the case. Yeah, and equally is the stock RSI here. You can see the 8 hours coming up. Again, we'll see what that wants to do. That doesn't necessarily have to come all the way back to the top. You can take a turn down, and oftentimes what you get is you can get a stock pushing all the way down and creating a turn. Yeah. And then you see it gets halfway up and turns down again, and then this turn down can be a far bigger move in price action than the movement in the stock RSI. So, and that actually played out last time. Yeah, I'll just show you just to make the point. Yeah. So here's price action here. Here is the 8 hour we're talking about. So here's the stock here. Here's the top on price action. Here, and then I'll mark these out. So here's the RSI, here's the top, here's the top of the stock, and then here's the top in price action. Yeah. So now you can see how this big drop here brought the one I'm circling now, brought the RSI down, and look what it did on the stock. So this one here, it brought it all the way down here, a deep drop, all the way down, and then you can see it played out here. Yeah. So now at the moment is the stock is came back to the top, the RSI came back to the top, but now look at what happened with price action. Look where it brought price action to. Look where it brought price action to. Yeah. So my point is that this big spill in price action pulled the RSI all the way down to the bottom, brought the RSI all the way back up to overbought. Then look at price action. Price action came all the way down here. RSI bottomed out. Price action come all the way up to here. But look, the RSI topped out, but look how little price action came up. So for the RSI to get back to the top, price action didn't get back to the top. If anything, if we put a fib on it, from top to bottom, or actually, my apologies, from bottom to top, is price action broke the 0.5, didn't break the 618. So now at the moment from here is the RSI took a drop down. The RSI took a drop down. Again, takes a drop down. It gets a lift. RSI gets a lift. And the question again I'm asking is, with this lift, once this price action turns here, is the 8-hour RSI heads back to the bottom. So now this is quite high. If this 8-hour RSI wants to head back to the bottom here, it's got a bit of a journey to get there, yeah. And we are due for price action to go back to the support line here in the consolidation pattern, yeah. We are equally due in the smaller Wyckoff accumulation. We're due another bottom, yeah. We've only had one lower low. Normally there's a second and a third. We've only had one. So even if we're only going to get a second lower low and not a third, we're still due at least one lower low on the smaller Wyckoff accumulation. So that's how I make sense of it, yeah. Is I just don't see how price action could start to head on up now. But for the whales just pumping it, just for the big guys who from my point of view, it looks like it's ready to drop. Is the market? A lot of people are looking at it going, yes, this is due a bottom, yeah. And then that's where the whales rug pull. Is they pump it up and they give a rally, and they rug pull everybody when everybody thinks it's going to go down, because that's the way the pattern moves, and then they decide to to rug pull. So that's absolutely a possibility. And that possibility is always there, yeah. But there's only so much they can do because they're following algorithms. They've got to follow the algorithms. So with regards to XRP, it's delivered one lower low, is it is due a second one. So if they want to do a relief rally, the question is how far up will they take it before again coming down for that lower low, yeah. And I suppose the simple answer to that is this question here, or is this here, yeah. On the daily is potentially, you can see the triangle here, yeah. You can see here's the pattern here, yeah. So you can see it's bouncing along this support line, and potentially we got a bounce. We got a bounce from here, and potentially we could be coming up and hitting the 47 mark again before it comes back down. So that could be the relief rally if it was going to come, yeah. That is a potential, yeah. Is one of the things that would have to get past if it wanted to continue coming up is we've had this spill here on the 20 across the 55 on the EMA. This is on the daily. It has bounced back. Here's the 200 was resistance. It broke it. It broke back above the 20 and it wicked to the 55 and the 50 SMA on the daily. Yeah? So you can see the rejection from that at the moment is it would need to come back up and break the 55 and the 50 SMA, which is not an easy trick to do. Yeah, it'll be a lot for it to break back up. Equally, this is the 50 on the daily, the 50 MA on the daily. Again, it could come up and do a test here. All these guys are going to be a challenge to get past. But again, if the market makers want to take it up, most likely this will be the area that they'll hit before you'll see a potential move back down. Yeah. So that's one story. The other story is we have the descending channel here. So you can see the triangle. You can see the triangle. And equally, the computer's a little slow at the moment. Zoom it in. So in the descending channel, you've got 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, 4, 5. We've already had 3 touches to this, and you're getting a strong rejection from it, yeah. So potentially this is setting us on the pathway down to the bottom of the channel again, yeah. So potentially that's that. Here's the Wyckoff accumulation on the previous, where you can see that bottom wick, and that's the bottom wick. We got that on the previous 2 bull runs or bear runs. We got that bottom wick, and as the pattern goes, we are due that bottom wick now, or at least some sort of lower low. Some sort of lower low seems to need to kick in, yeah. So that's what we're looking at, yeah. And one final thing is you can see this lift up here. You can see the drop, and now let's have a look at the fibs. So you can see that from here. You see this level where it's double bottomed here, yeah. From the top to the bottom. Now, the challenge is here is you've got the drop down here. Okay, now the lift back up is only come back to the 0.5 so far. So the rejection on the daily at the 0.5 on the fib is also the 55 and the 50 SMA, yeah. And again with the 50 coming down very strong as well, yeah. So, excuse me, is again if price action starts to head down from here, again, it looks like the 0.5 was the rejection, and we're getting the A, B, and we get our final leg down, and we start to break it. So what are some of the signals that are going to be that we're going to go for that bigger push down? Yeah. What levels do we need to see breaking? Yeah. So a simple one is just this bottom here. Just seeing this break. 37.35. Seeing this level break on this swing is 34.60. Is to see a lower low in this swing is 31.22. So again, we could just get a lower low here, or may even fall short. But coming back to this line here at 33.55, 33 seems reasonable, even if it wants to continue on up. If we want to break this lower low here, we'd need to see. There you go, 28.62 or so. Yeah. So I think one of the bigger signals to see getting broken is this support line here. Yeah. So if we start to see over the next couple of days 33.50, if we see 33.50 getting broken, getting one below, potentially a back test to it, and then a continue on down. So that's something to watch out for. Yeah, is what happens at around 33.50. Again, if it gets down here, is 33.50, a break below it, a back test, and then potentially a continuation on down. Yeah, and again, the target would be, if you look at the fibs here, so you break below 0, you start going to the next level. So the next level down is the 1.272 is at 26.50. So that seems like a potential target. 1.414, 24.40 or so. The 1.618 we're hitting now at the 21.65, and we took it all the way down to this channel line here. The bottom of this channel line is the target would be 1964. Yeah, 1964. And that would be touching off this bottom line, and potentially this is where we might have our bottom. Yeah. Now I took this line here. I believe it's this line. Is this line here? I took the center of it here, and then when I place it underneath, again you're getting down to this line here. So again, this seems like we're in decision time. It's decision time for price action here. Is are we going to head on up, or are we going to start to head on down? Yeah. To me, it looks like we're heading down. We're going to have our 1, 2, 3 A, B, C. But we'll see. Could be completely wrong. Price action might want to pump to 47. Get a bit of a rejection here, and then possibly even pump up to 56. I know there's a 74 up here, about 73, 74. But again, that would be if this is the Wyckoff accumulation bottom, and we're starting to have our legs up. Yeah. So that really is it. That really is the question. Yeah. Is with the Wyckoff accumulation pattern here. Are we here heading for this, or are we here heading for this? That's the question. Are we coming down for this? So are we here for this, or are we here for this? That is the question. Yeah. My indicators tell me that we got to go down one more leg. Okay, so now this is my final thing. I think this is my third time to say it. With regards to trade, and again, I'm going to focus on the short. Is if you're looking for a short, it's a tricky one because this is looking good for a reversal now, yeah. It's looking great for a reversal, to be honest, yeah. On the 1 hour is I'd really want to see price action getting below the 20s here. The 20 EMA, the white and the pink is 20 MA. I really would want to see it starting to get below here, so that I've got a sense of there isn't going to be that next push up, yeah, because there may be one more push up with the volatility today. So it might be better to wait out the volatility of today, or the volatility of what Jerome Powell has to say. A couple of other indicators playing out, and when you can see that there's a clear top and reversal, or maybe one more leg up and then a reversal, is then we could be looking for a short entry. So that's probably, at the moment, that's probably the best play. It's just to watch and wait to see what way it's going to play out. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. You see this little box here? This box is where the 5 MA and the VWAP is on the monthly. This is the zone where the wick of the 5 MA and the VWAP on the monthly is. So I've got this marked out so that mentally I keep it in my mind. This is where it is. So price action at the end of the day is going to be very important, is where price action is in relationship to this. So the lower down this is we get the 5 continuing, the 10 continuing, and the VWAP turns down. Price action is above this or close to it. It allows for the 5 to turn easier and the VWAP to go up. So that's something to be watching by the end of today. Yeah. So that's it. Let's just see how the today goes, and we'll take from there. So enjoy the rest of your day. I know that was a long session, but again, I'm mindful of we're definitely at a turning point where price action is going to decide what it's going to do with regards to the next move up or the next move down. And it's just important that I show you my reasoning and why I'm holding that short position. Yeah. So you understand it. Yeah. Okay. Listen, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later on. Have a good one.